Zinali, Ani Omega, Ani Omed, Polefulega, Kaashe Ani Magi, Me Aye, I said, Raele, Kael Hoa. Sadi Devorka Kakma Toraka Ye Kakangu Roselemo Shemorakai Weko Mishpati Home Azepiro Kavashalom.
Blessed and praised, glorified, exalted, and extolled be the name of the supreme King of Kings, the Holy One. Blessed be He, for He is the first and He is the last, and there is no God besides Him. Strive up towards Him who guides the world through desolate places by His name, Yah, and exalt before His countenance. His name is exalted far beyond all blessings and praise. Blessed be the name of the Holy King of the universe, Yehovah Sabaoth. Hallelujah.
Shalom. We're going to get started after this. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel as well.
Praise in him, strength and dominion, victory, greatness and might, renown and glory, holiness and kingship, blessings and utterance of thanksgiving, henceforth and unto eternity. Blessed be you, Yehovah, God and King, great in hymns of praise, God of thanksgiving, Yehovah of wonders, who takes pleasure in hymns. Blessed and praised, glorified, exalted, and extolled be the name of the supreme King of kings, the Holy One. Blessed be he, for he is the first and he is the last, and there is no God besides him. Strive up towards him who guides the world through desolate places by his name, Yah, and exalt before his countenance. His name is exalted far beyond all blessings and praise. Blessed be the name of the Holy King of the universe, Yehovah Sabaoth. Hallelujah.
Subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Shalom.
Strength and dominion, victory, greatness and might.
Subscribe to the channel, people. Thank you.
Kingship, blessings and utterance of thanksgiving, henceforth and unto eternity. Blessed be you, Yehovah, God and King, great in hymns of praise, God of thanksgiving, Yehovah of wonders, who takes pleasure in hymns.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. We hope and pray that everybody is well It will be better. This is your brother and your friend, Yeshaya Israel of the tribe of Dan of the house of Israel. Brothers and sisters, we ask you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are going to be talking about Kebron in the Hebrew, meaning friendship, and Sonim, haters, if you will. They're not new. They exist. In the Bible, in Exodus chapter 20, the Most High God spoke and said to the third and fourth generation of those that hate him. Brothers and sisters, in the Hebrew, it says, Lason I, which in Hebrew more so properly means to my haters, meaning to those who hate the Most High. And it says to those that love me in Hebrew says, the Ohabai. In other words, meaning to my lovers. So you're going to have those that love you and you're going to have those that hate you. It comes with the territory. The book of Psalms speaks specifically of saying that the haters of the Most High should dwindle away. So when Solomon was already on the throne, the Most High said to him, because you did not sit there and ask for the life of your enemies. So we already know that it comes with the territory. Haters come as a package deal. Brothers and sisters, what we want to talk about in this is how to deal, say, with such a matter. So without any further ado, we ask you all to comment, like, share, subscribe, if you will. We're going to turn off the camera, pull up the PowerPoint, if we will. All right. If it could be seen in this way, let me know. Sometimes, oh, guess not. So let me sit there and deal with this. Stop the screen. Share the screen, if we will, in this particular case. All right. And let us look at this right here for reference purposes. Sidebar, brothers and sisters. The land of Israel is not in South Africa. The land of Israel is not in Ghana. The land of Israel is not in Utah. The land of Israel is not in Peru. Those are some of the things, if we will, that we care to sit there and speak upon for, say, reference purposes in the beginning of this. The land of Israel, according to the prophet Ezekiel, it says it's taken up in the lips of Torcus. And that Edom, the Edomites, wanted the land of Israel from antiquity, meaning from ancient times, after the children of Israel were not there. Now, the people of Israel, in part, are scattered in South Africa, are scattered in Ghana, are scattered in Peru, are scattered in Utah. But that does not mean that the land of Israel is in those places. When you read about, for instance, the Lion of Judah, it does not mean because other countries have a lion that is where the tribe of Judah was initially, or the land of Judah was initially. We want to go over a particular matter. Again, getting back to the point of the post or the presentation about haters and how they move and operate and what signs, what some may call red flags, to look out for. So if I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, we ask you please type in the number 4. I am on the Facebook profile, Yeshaya Author Danite, in the YouTube channels, More Yeshaya Torah Lessons and More Yeshaya History Lessons. Thank you for that. It's all good. All right, for typing that in. Let me sit there and pull this up and start from here. This was, for those who do know, intended to be done last night, but I was exhausted after I did the presentation about the whole matter of good morning and grand rising, or grand rising and good morning. I didn't want to do this presentation after that, feeling kind of exhausted and tired, because I would have not been able to give my 110% or my 100% or my all in the presentation. I didn't want to just sit there and say, well, it's scheduled, so let me do it. No, get yourself together, get some sleep, get some rest, get something to eat, get something to drink, and then come back better in a fresher mind and spirit when you present this word to the people. Giving honor to the Most High. This presentation is brought to you by Danitepublications. And this, we will discuss that the friends that Rehoboam had were haters. Haters exist, and sometimes they hide it until it cannot be hid anymore. Subscribe to the channel. See, you can't fake love, brothers and sisters. Eventually, your true feelings are going to show. You can't sit there and fake it but for so long. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we want to talk about for reference purposes. Thank you. I have my friend make up this AI image of a black king. Not saying that's Rehoboam himself, but he would have 9 times out of 10 having an Ammonite mom and a Israelite father. He would have looked closer to that than some of the images they try to portray. Looking straight Japhetic. The land of Israel, again, is not even in Europe. All right, so these are things we care to bring out for reference purposes. Not to be racial. If the land of Israel and the Israelites were Europeans, they would not sit there and say Greece is the mother of Western civilization. Because by the time the Greek Empire came to power, around the time, say, of Aristotle, which was a little before Alexander, that is when they cite their greatest achievement in Western civilization, from Greece to Rome on to America, if you will, through Britain. If the Israelites were European, and thus the land of Israel will be in Europe, if that was the case, then it would have been not noted timing from the Greek Empire. It would have been noted from the time when the kings of Judah were ruling. So these are things we care to bring out for reference purposes. Watch those close to you. Some are jealous of your shine. Be well to people, elders. Treat the people bad, male friends. Now, this is not to bash males. This is not to say that female friends are not hateful. You understand? What this is, brothers and sisters, is talking specifically about what happened with Rehoboam. And we're going to read 1 Kings chapter 12, the first 16 verses, and gather what we're talking about. Now, in the first picture on the left-hand side, Rehoboam is shown there looking at his friend with a smile on his face. Smile. Why won't you just smile? Everybody smiling is not your friend. The Joker and Batman smiled, brothers and sisters. He was not his friend. All right? So these are things we care to point out for reference purposes. Don't you smile sometimes? Don't you ever laugh? Yeah, I do. It does say a time to laugh and a time to cry, but just because I'm not in the most jovial of spirit doesn't mean I'm depressed either. I state that a comedian whose occupation is to make people laugh has to be serious. He cannot or she cannot be a clown in his or her occupation. So being serious doesn't mean that you're saddened or depressed. It means that you're focused. Even if you're serious about being a clown at a zoo, even if you're serious about portraying yourself as a clown in front of children, you have to be serious about that. I remember they used to have, not to get sidetracked, this mascot thing come in Roy Wilkins Park in Queens. And it would be a mascot of Barney for the children to sit there and laugh at and so forth and so on. Whoever was in that had to be serious about it. Sometimes during the summertime in New York City, they have the mascot of Big Bird or Superman or Cookie Monster. Those people who are portraying these clowns and characters have to be serious about that. See, there is a distinction between being serious and being melancholy. And there's a distinction between being a clown and being serious. Melancholy and clown are not good. Being serious about even being a clown is important. So these are things we care to bring out for reference purposes, if we will. Some are jealous of your shine. The rap group Mobb Deep came out with a song that essentially was saying, watch those people that are close to you. You have to be very circumspect, brothers and sisters. The book of the Apocrypha says, test a friend and not be hasty to credit him. So what are we getting at in this particular case? This is not to say give people a 0 and let them start from there to 100, because even if you start at 100 with someone, he or she is going to show you whether they're worth that 100 or not. Time will tell the story. situations will display one's character. You understand? And what we're talking about in the matter with Rehoboam, the elder on the left-hand side that you see is giving good counsel. Rehoboam decided not to follow the good counsel. And we're going to see what the result of it was. Let's move on, family. Thank you. We are now reading in the scriptures in 1 Kings 12. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt. Sidebar, if you will, historically, the time frame that Jeroboam would have been in Egypt would have been, brothers and sisters, culminating from the late 18th dynasty and into the 19th dynasty of Egypt. So they're talking about what they refer to in Egyptian history as the New Kingdom. In the presentation a brother did on Mora Yeshaya history lessons, there is a playlist called Story of Solomon. The woman that Solomon married, that was the daughter of the Pharaoh, a brother is presenting and was presenting, was the sister of Queen Hatshepsut, which will explain, if that being the case, that Thutmose the first daughter marrying a Hebrew man is no longer after such inside of the Egyptian records. Remember, for the Egyptians, it was an abomination for them to sit there and eat with the Hebrews. Now, we're talking some decades after Solomon married the daughter of Pharaoh. Right? So therefore, the time frame that Jeroboam would have been in Egypt, still in the New Kingdom of Egypt, is culminating to the late 18th dynasty, beginning of the 19th dynasty. Many people, sidebar, have been talking about whether or not Shishak in Chronicles chapter 12 is to be related to Shishak of dynasty 22 or to Ramses of dynasty 19. Stay tuned for next month's presentation about that. So these are things, brothers and sisters, not to get sidetracked, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spoke to Rehoboam, saying, now, not to be depressed, going to Egypt for Jeroboam, not to be sad, is like what many brothers in Brooklyn, New York, was doing during the crack era when going down to Virginia to escape beef and problems. It was very well known in New York City that when brothers was involved in that wickedness in the drug game and they run into problems in it, they run down to Virginia and start a new life. So like many of brothers have done, say in the 80s, is what Jeroboam centuries ago did in fleeing to Egypt for security purposes. We'll find out later that Egypt became a place of security in part, not dependability, but security, because Ezekiel lets us know that Israel leaning upon Egypt is like putting your hand on a bush that has thorns and it pierces you through. So they let you come down there, but they ain't protect you. You on your own still. Just like some brothers went down to Virginia back, say, in the 80s. Not to get sidetracked. That's a Commonwealth state. They make up laws as they go along. So these are things, brothers and sisters, in part, that we want to bring out for reference purposes, if you will. Right? Let's continue. Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now, therefore, make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me, and the people departed. Now, this is in 1 Kings chapter 12. No disrespect intended. The chapter before then, in chapter 11, it said that Solomon loved many foreign women. Do we see where we're going? You, an Israelite man, dealing with a woman that's not an Israelite, and one chapter, and the next chapter after you die, the people are saying, we ain't like him, and he ain't treat us right. You cannot be crossing lines nationalistically or in other cases, and expect to still have the same heart for your people. You understand? So, to no disrespect intended, the sisters out there that swirl with these other nations, as they call it, black women, white man kind of thing, if you will. You can't respect the black man in the same token, in the same event. I have seen brothers who have male swelled, if you will, and when they see a sister that is fine, they got to put their head down like, mm-mm. See, my point in going into that is you cannot sit there and cross that line and everything be all right with your people in your hearts. You have to repent, change, safe from that in that particular case, like some people have done. So, brothers and sisters, what we want to get into, if we will, is that in 1 Kings chapter 11, it says that Solomon loved many foreign women. And in the next chapter, the people that Solomon belonged to is saying, your father treated us bad. Get the connection? Let's go on. Verse 6. We are still in 1 Kings 12. And King Rehoboam consulted with old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? And he spoke unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. That's good advice. If you speak well to them and answer them, people want an answer, not just a response. Even, not to be funny, in the medical world, they actually give you a prescription or give you medicine to sit there and see, we want to see how this one will react. An answer and a response are two different things. A medication can show a response. It doesn't necessarily give you the answer / solution. What is the answer to the question, huh? Case in point with this food that's about to be inaugurated. Do you happen to have any medical ideas or medical coverage that you have? Do you have an insurance plan, Mr. Trump? I have concepts of it. I'm not president yet, but you was already president before. So what was your answer then? And to the people saying, well, he's giving answers that the other 6 previous presidents didn't give. He's part of the 6 previous presidents. You forgot his first term? So if you was already president and you didn't have a medical insurance idea concept put into place then, what are you going to do for the next week that's going to be coming for the future? We have to begin to think. See? Now, taking it back, if we will, here with Rehoboam, brothers and sisters, he was giving good counsel. If you serve them, they'll serve you. You understand? They will be your servants forever. You want to get these people to feel you? You want to get these people to like you? You want to get these people to stand behind you and rally for you? Give them what they want. Let's go on, family. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with them, which stood before him. Pardon me. Verse 9. We are in 1 Kings chapter 12. And he said unto them, what counsel give ye, that I may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him said unto him, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spoke unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did laid you with heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastened you with whips, but I will chasten you with scorpions. So Rehoboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the 3rd day. See, they even respected him enough to give him his space. People need space. You find grown men and women saying that, yo, I need my time. I need my me time, yo. I need my me time. I need my private time. They gave Rehoboam his me time. They gave him his private time. They didn't sit there and send a messenger a day and a half earlier and sit there and see and try to counsel. That is not to talk politics all the time. That's where Nixon messed up. You should have never went into the Watergate Hotel and tried to investigate. You was already winning, sir. You doing that is what you call being extra. You understand? Jeroboam and them were not trying to be extra. Let's give him his time that he asked for. We already made our case before him, and then we're going to return back and see what it is. You understand? So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. All right? Hoping and praying everybody is well and will be better. Let's continue, if we will, family, in this particular case. We are in 1 Kings chapter 12. And the king answered the people roughly and forsook the old men's counsel that they had gave him, and spoke to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastened you with whips, but I will chasten you with scorpions. Now, before he even gave this answer to the people, the scriptures already told us that he forsook the counsel of the old men. Was Rehoboam's mind already made up? Did he go to the old men and ask for counsel to front? To act like, yeah, I'm going to sit there. I already kind of got my mind made up on what I want to do. But I think the right thing to do is to at least show face, you know. I'm going to act like I'm concerned. Ha ha. Yeah, your vote is, and I'm not trying to shame the brother, but if you take like Cat Williams, kind of funny in a way, but not in a way that we're trying to present it. I'll take your vote. Children, what do you want to eat? Pizza, 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 spaghetti it is. So I'll take your vote. So Rehoboam took the people's vote, but he already perhaps had his mind made up, because it already told us that he took the counsel of the old men and forsook, he forsook the counsel of the old men and took the counsel of the younger guys. Let's move on, family. Verse 15. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from Yah, that he might perform his saying, which Yah spoke by Achiyah the Shilonite unto Rehoboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in Dawid? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Yishai. To your tents, O Yisrael. Now see to thine own house, Dawid. So Israel departed unto their tents. Brothers and sisters, sadly, after this, did you know that Jeroboam sent someone to collect taxes and they killed that man? Israel stoned that man with stones that was sent to what would become the northern kingdom to collect the taxes. What Rehoboam was coming to be might be what you call a slumlord. Let me break this down, Israel. The slumlord is the person that will rent a space out that he will not want to live in himself. But he's going to come through and expect you to pay weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and so on. Don't fix nothing. Don't put the money that he gets into the place that you are renting out, but expect it to come through. You understand? Bathroom don't work right. Kitchen don't work right. Refrigeration don't work right. Electricity don't work right. Got to remove your food before it spoils. That's slumlord. Rehoboam was becoming a slumlord. The other person was like this, I'm going to be worse. So Israel decided to what? Go to their own tents. I'm not dealing with that foolery no more. It's time to move on to something better. And that's what happened with that. So now when Rehoboam sent the tax collector, being already a slumlord, and how he dealt with the people, not giving the people what they want and deserve, but cutting his own self off from the connection with his own people because, well, I'm already king. I'm good. I got this property. Even though, like Lauryn Hill said, you might win some, but you just lost one. So you already done lost 9, 10 tribes, if you will. But you okay because I got Jerusalem. I'm good. It's the beauty of all lands, right? Yeah. But you just been shortened more than you expanded. You did, if anything, Jerusalem harm than good. They're not going to want to cross the Jordan to come and see your throne, O Rehoboam, son of Solomon. Because in part, you listen to the wrong people. Your friends were not Solomon's children. Solomon, Rehoboam left you a kingdom. You didn't understand what you was being left with. You did not, as we've been saying on this channel repetitively, you did not see your light, bruh. You didn't see the good that you had. You didn't see the good inheritance that you had. You listened to the cowards who, no disrespect intended, if you understand the stories of some of the Israelites talking about look out for the fatherless and the widow, some of your friends may have not even had fathers around. But they're going to give you counsel, perhaps. Your friends probably got baby mamas and never want to be a husband. But these are the people you're going to take counsel from. Your friends are jealous that you got a father like Solomon. Though Solomon may have not even been the best person as he went along in years. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, in the scriptures, Solomon said, I got to leave my riches to my son. I do not know if my son will be a wise man or a fool, but I still got to leave my riches to him. Solomon didn't leave his riches to Rehoboam's friends. So brothers and sisters, be careful who you roll with. Watch out for those closest to you. You understand? So let's look at this, family, if we will. You have female friends that would know a female friend of theirs has a guy that's what women will call a good catch. But they will advise her, like Rehoboam's friends advised him, he's this, he's that. He was this, he was that. And like a fool, you listen to your female friends who either one is not happy with her man, does not have a man, or will be okay knowing more and more things about your man. Sisters, you got to ask yourself about those kind of females. How does she know so much about your man's past? And did she ever, as a sister, try to check the guy who became your man to sit there and state, brother, maybe that's not a good idea? Or when he may have changed his ways, if the claim was even true against him, and he got with a sister, now all of a sudden, females pop up out of nowhere. Girl, he was like this. Girl, he was like that. And like a fool, you follow that. The worst thing, and I would tell my little princess this and any other lady, the worst thing a female can do is go to her female friend about a male. And the same thing with a male about his lady friend. Everybody is now learning you don't talk to those that are immediately close to you in age for sure about those whom you are with. And sometimes even elders you can't sit there and confide in. So you have to pick your friends, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. See, with Rehoboam, he had elders and friends, but his friends were haters. They were tied to him being a friend and hating. You understand? These are things we have to be careful about, brothers and sisters. Brothers, not to get too personal, if we will. If I may say, family, and no disrespect intended. I remember, not getting too personal, when my little one was born. And I confided, if you will, not to even mention dollars and cents, about the money I was giving her mother. People were telling me, oh, that's too much to give at that time. But I wasn't asking you for anything either. Now, if I listen to the counsel, like Rehoboam did to quote his friends, my child would have had less. My daughter's mom wasn't the kind of woman, I don't even need you. I make my more money than you. And she does make more and did make more, but she didn't come at me like that. You understand? But if I listen to these knuckleheads that I was in part raised up with, like Rehoboam was raised up with knuckleheads and sidebar haters, oh, that's too much. I didn't ask you for a dime. I think this might have been before Cash App even came out, because my princess is 18, so I don't even think 18 years ago Cash App even existed. You understand? Why do I go there? Because if I had took counsel and accepted counsel from people who were not putting their money where their mouth was, my child would have had less. I would have had to been in a more of a situation to explain myself to my child. Oh, you didn't do this and you didn't get that, and mommy had to do more and had to rely on uncle more than she was with you because I'm listening to my friends. Watch those that are close to you, family. You understand? Child's now becoming of a little bit more age. Similar situation, how it relates with life and so forth. Not to get too personal, but want to lay it down for reference purposes. Who's more important in a man's life? Is it his wife, his baby mama, his mama, or his daughter? I went on a presentation before in the past and said the most important person will be the elder. We forgot that. How do I, in my 30s or 40s, put a woman in my life over the person that's my mother's peer? See, Rehoboam didn't acknowledge his elders, right? I acknowledge mine. So if I'm with the lady and she has a mother, a father, if I have a mother and a father, the parents, the elders in the community come first. Proverbs 31. It says, the man of the wise woman is known when he sits among the elders of the city. Not with the knuckleheads he grew up with, but the elders of the city. So the elders get rank and file in our community. Supposed to. So how do I put my lady over our elders in the community when the elders are due respect? Well, your wife come first. That's not a wife. If she wants to be before the elders of the city, you know what that is? A control freak. That's what that is. That's not wifey right there, brothers. If you in your 30s and 40s and you and your lady are born in the same decade and same generation, and she wants to be put in front of those who are our parents' generation, she doesn't respect her elders. Toodaloo, bye-bye. Because we need to respect our elders more than we do in many cases. I liked, not that I was a big fan of the show, but I liked the episode of Martin when Martin got hit by the elder at the post office, said, you better respect your elders, and the audience had to clap. What happened with the respect of the elders? How do I have to sit there and choose between honoring and respecting my mother, my lady's mom, or my lady? When does that competition ever come into play? And if I have a lady and a daughter, and she's not the mother of my daughter, she becomes the stepmother of such. My child is to honor and respect her. It is not, it's too much estrogen, testosterone, whatever one is, the male or the females, too much feminine energy. Two women can't live together. That's why we don't get along as a people. We take their concepts and then try to bring it into us. We came over here in slave ships with each other's feces on us. Now, all of a sudden, it's a thing in which two women just can't live together. Two men just can't live in the same kind of place. But then when the bills become higher and higher, and the mortgage becomes higher and higher, and the rent goes higher and higher, then what do? You understand what I'm saying? See, because as we pointed out before, feelings does not block reality. So we have to begin to use our wisdom, family. You understand? Again, it should never be asked in a wise and affluent community, who comes first in a man's life? His mother, his wife, his baby mama, or daughter. And anybody saying that it is the wife is saying the hell with the future, because that's the daughter's the future. People talking as the house of Israel, it's the wife. In the Bible, hold on, in the Bible, you would have never had a baby's mother if you was going according to what the Bible says. If you're going according to what the Bible says, you have a wife before she becomes a mother. So you can't, oh, house of Israel, then say the wife and then talk about the Bible, because there would have never been, if you follow in the Bible, a baby's mama. It would have been wife. So that nuts that. And then the next thing you got is elder, and mother is elder. So the elders come first. Proverbs 31. He sits among the elders of the city, not up under his wife all the time. Give her own me time too, as we spoke about earlier, if we will. Again, family, these are things that we're talking about for reference purposes, if you will. Let's pull the PowerPoint back up. Thank you for that. The situation we see here, family, Rehoboam did not take the counsel of the elders, and Israel departed and left. We're not dealing with this no more. The kingdom done split. Spoken by the word of the prophet. Did Rehoboam ever try to go to the prophets and say, let's mend it back together? The Most High will have mercy on us. He spoke about splitting us, but we hope and pray that we get that unity, and let us show our God that we want that unity. Let us ask the Most High to not divide us and bring us together. What happened to that? But as we pointed out before, let the chips fall where they will. In Israel, we was never supposed to have a human king in the first place. So, like he says, I remember in the book of Hosea, it says, I give you a king in my anger and take him away in my wrath. You was never supposed to have the kingdom to even be divided in the first place. But dealing with politics, Israel have wind up getting a kingdom in that nature. Let's move on, family. Proverbs 17 and Leviticus 19. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. See, a true friend we're talking about is loving at all times. They're not going to be wish-washy. They're not going to be sometimey. Yeah, he or she is going to need his or her own time, but it's not going to be a thing which I need my time because you're a burden. That's not a friend. Anytime you're a burden to somebody, cut it off. I don't want to be a problem to you. So you know what? I respect you enough that if I am a problem to you, let's just end the friendship. Let's end the friendship. If me being around is a problem, I will not be your problem anymore. And it be what it is. And that's what happened with the northern and southern kingdom. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Leviticus 19. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among your people, neither should thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yah. When it says don't stand against the blood of your neighbor, what that is saying is you have the ability to help, do it. Don't sit there and be like, let the chips fall where they will. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's your responsibility. Hey, you got this. I'm going to get out. It may be too hot in the kitchen. I'm not going to send somebody that's a chef in there to help you, but hey, I'm no longer your friend in that case. Separate you from your enemies and take heed to your friends. That's what we need to know and understand, family. When times get to a certain place, you'll find out who your friends are. We're going to go over that in the Apocrypha. Neither should thou go up and down as a talebearer among your people. You know what's a talebearer? Rakil in Hebrew. Oh, I heard. Oh, I can't wait to tell you this. That has nothing to do with neither you nor that person. That's what a talebearer is. A and B is dealing with a matter. C and D ain't got nothing to do with it, but E is going to tell C and D about A and B. That's what talebearing is. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Rebuke your neighbor. Don't sit there and hold that in. That could damage your health. You sinning against yourself. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in your heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke your neighbor. Proverbs teaches us that there is a rebuke that is comely. Know how to rebuke. There's a way to do everything and not suffer sin upon him. If he offends you and you don't say nothing about it, and he keeps on offending you, you letting him sin. You're not checking him. Like boundaries in this particular case, using that as an example. Like this is where the boundary is at right here. You telling me or asking me what I do for my little ones regarding her mom as a baby, that's the boundary you don't cross, bruh. We see each other in a camp on quote unquote Saturday, which is truly the Shabbat. That's where it might start and end. Me having a child the other days of the week, that's not the boundary for you to cross, fam. So you got to rebuke your neighbor like, no, don't ever sit there and try to tell me what I'm doing with my pockets with my child. That's where you need to stop at. Neither shall you stand against the blood of your neighbor. If you're able to help somebody, then do so. There was a case, Israel, where people needed help and family came through and helped. They didn't even talk about it. That's just their thing. They just wasn't talking about it. The person who received the help talked about it. These are things, brothers and sisters, that help make us better. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people. See the unity and the nationalism? But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yah. That is implying that you already love yourself, that you have respect for yourself. So this only thing about deny yourself. Deny yourself. First off, people telling you, quote, deny yourself, don't think that you have even a righteous mind. Because what they're attempting to portray is you're denying wickedness when you're denying self, because they think that you're just wicked whatsoever. So when they say deny yourself, they're saying deny the bad, but they don't think you're good. So they just say deny yourself. They don't say deny the bad part about you, the part that you want to get rid of. They just flat out say deny yourself, as if you just all bad. See, that's psychological brain beating ahead of you might say. It says emphatically, you shall not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people. If you rebuke your brother and sister, then there's no way for you to ever have to take vengeance, because you already nipped it in the bud. So now you're not bearing sin upon him. He or she is not offending you. You already made peace, and therefore there's no need to seek any kind of vengeance, because you're now good, not just there. See, that's why we want to emphasize, like last night, good morning, not just morning, night, morning, night. How do you shorten the good out of something? When men say they want a good woman, not just a woman, women say they want a good man, not just a man. How then, once it comes down to greeting, we dropped out the adjective of good? She wants an Ish Tob, a good man. He wants an Isha Toba, a good woman. But we have a problem saying good morning, good night, good day. Day, morning is shortened. No. the wickedness in your heart is not allowing you to say good to your brother or sister. That's why you don't say good. The Most High made the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:31, and all that in them is, and it was told me'od. Not just the heavens and the earth was there. It was good, even very good, Genesis 1:31. So we can never, ever forget good or tob. Don't drop that out. It leads into a different kind of spirit. Like pointed out before, I work around people like that. Night, good night, night. What demon you got that you can't even say the word good? That's deep. What energies are you dealing with? Cast out that demon by even saying good and let it just flee from you, if you will. You understand? Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people. These laws is for a wise and understanding people. But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. You can't fake love. Open rebuke is better than secret love, is what Proverbs teaches us. So if you rebuke your neighbor respectfully, from the heart, not to belittle, not to shame, not to castigate, not to try to humiliate, then you can tell the difference. You understand? Let me give you a case in point. Brother, do you think you can ever follow anybody, Yeshaya? Yeah, if there was somebody worth following that's of good character, because I'm not perfect. Oh, I just wanted to know. Whoa, what? You just needed to know if I was going to be willing to, quote, follow someone? No. What I will not do, and no disrespect, not being self-centered, is sit in places at 44 that I was at 14, 30 years ago, still being told the same thing. When do you graduate from the Israelite School of Understanding and become a teacher yourself? See, there's the difference between the two. If a child is not walking by the age of 3 or 4, heaven forbid, they would say something is wrong. But in Israel, and no offense intended, we go year in and decade in and out with the same lessons. Take these lessons and pass it on to somebody else. Get what you can out of it and pass it on to somebody else. So when camps have doors closed, regurgitating the same thing to the same people, what's going on? We have to elevate and advance in that. You understand? Let's move on, family. Yadid, friend. From the Hebrew word hadad. To befriend, to be friend, to be of love. It's where you get the root word Dawid, transliterated as David, which means beloved. Kabir, friend. From the word kabar, which means to tie or to bind. The kind of friendship that David and Jonathan had. The kind of friendship that, though they didn't always make the best decisions, Shimon and Levi had. The kind of friendship, brothers and sisters, that even Moses and Aaron had. The kind of friendship that Moses and Joshua had. True friendship. Let's move on, family. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 in the Apocrypha verse 1. We're going to read that through. Taking intermission right now. Shalom. Be right back within, say, 5 minutes. All right, it is now 3 o'clock on the dot and Eastern Standard Time. We're going to take an intermission in this particular case, family, and play some music. Be right back. Thank you.
warash hatzdiku Ha'atudalawa Evyona Miyabra Imahazilu Kuma Elohim Shafta Haaretz Ki Ata Zinacha B'Kagoyim Mizmor La'asaf Lo Yadu V'lo Yavinu B'Chasheka Yitalaku Yimotu Kamos De Aretz Ani Amarti Elohim Atem Uvene Elyon Kulekem Akeke Adam Zemutun Achar Hazariti Polu Uma Elohim Shafta Haaretz Ki Ata Zinecha B'Kagoyim Mizmor La'asaf Elohim Nitzach B'Adat El B'Perez Elohim Yishpos Ad Matai Tishpetu Awel Uvnei Resha'im Metis Shiftu Dalawa Yatom Ani Warash Hatzdiku Ha'atudalawa Evyona Miyabra Imahazilu Kuma Elohim Shafta Haaretz Ki Ata Zinacha B'Kagoyim Mizmor La'asaf Lo Yadu V'lo Yavinu B'Chasheka Yitalaku Yimotu Kamos De Aretz Ani Amarti Elohim Atem Uvene Elyon Kulekem Akeke Adam Zemutun Achar Hazariti Polu Uma Elohim Shafta Haaretz Ki Ata Zinecha B'Kagoyim Mizmor La'asaf
Oh, the microphone wasn't on. Sorry about that. Well, the music ended. The mic wasn't on, but if I can be heard now, let me know. Thank you for that, family. I am open to constructive criticism. I want to say this, not mentioning who per se, but I was told that if I get a microphone, the presentations might sound better. So I took the counsel, got a microphone, and it was a very helpful thing. It helps me. It gets me even more into the ruach, having a microphone in use in that particular case. See, even though it's your platform and your thing, you have to be open to constructive criticism. That's the difference, if we will, and how this connects with constructive criticism and hateful criticism. See, a person who knows, for instance, that something can help you, and they're not standing idly by the blood of their neighbor. In other words, they have the ability to help, and they don't help, or they do help, I mean to say, sorry. That's love. You understand? Arrogance is, I know it will help me, but because it's you, I'm going to reject it. That's what Rehoboam did. Listening to people who, in no disrespect intended, was not on his level. The friends that Rehoboam had were not on his level. So, when you're dealing with people who are not on your level, you wind up sinking. And that's what Rehoboam did. He sunk and lost references, if you will, friends, if you will, connections, if you will. You understand? And that's not good. Some people may say, well, here's what it is. See, the statements like, let the chip fall where it will, and it is what it is, are from people who don't know that they got the power to take control on something. Everything just don't have to be like that. You understand? We're going to read in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 1 to verse 18. And we're going to read it straight through. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves, and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed at in scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some men is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thy enemies, and take heed to thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such is as one who found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Most High, they that respect the Most High, shall find him. Whoso feareth, whoso respects the Most High, whoso feareth, the Most High shall direct his friendship aright. And it says, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou be find wisdom to thine old age. Brothers and sisters, what can we gather from reading those verses in Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha? Chapter 6 from verse 1 to verse 18. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy. Some people don't care. Well, I don't care what other people think. That's arrogant. Why don't you care what other people think? Can't make everybody happy. But what about those who you can make happy? You didn't say that. You said, I don't care what other people think. That's like in Jeremiah, and I don't mean no disrespect. Chapter 3, concerning Israel, it says, you have a whore's forehead, thou refusest to be ashamed. You know what a whore is? male or female, a person who has no restraints, no barriers. I don't care what nobody think. I'm going to just do what I do. So now you don't become an enemy to some. And that's not good. Doing you can get you done. And that's not good, family. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart. I have this degree. I have that degree. Can't nobody tell me nothing because you are not on my level. I know this and I see that. I work around somebody like that, not to always talk about a job. I know that, and I know, and I know, and what do you know? We work around each other a couple of hours out of the week. What do you possibly know? You see the person on their best behavior because he or she is at the job. You don't know anything about that person outside of, say, the job. And in many cases, working at the job is just part of what you do throughout the course of the day. So how much do you really know? So that's why, for instance, we read, extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart. Because if I experienced this before with that person, that means it has to be that person too. Not so. That shall eat up thy leaves, meaning that which branches from you, that which is nourishing from you. Because leaves sometimes have herbs, which are nourishing. And lose thy fruit. Fruit is good for your heart. And leave thyself as a dry tree. So you wind up losing your fruit, your extensions, your connections, a thing where it's not what you know, it's who you know. You wind up losing those who you know because you extolled yourself in your own heart. You made enemies. It's not good because it boils down in part to, it don't matter what anybody think about me. Let's move on, family. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed at to scorn of his enemies. You're always going to have enemies, haters, if you will. Comes with the territory. You understand? You don't need to make any more. Let's move on, family. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. That's what the elders was telling Rehoboam. Speak kindly to the people. Don't sit there and speak harsh. Nobody wants to go through that. You understand? And a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Because then people, when we start talking about it's not what you know, it's who you know, they're going to start to speak highly of you. They're going to start speaking kindly of you. They're going to start recommending you. So you don't want to, what elders today would say, burn bridges. May he rest in peace. Chief Naphtali. He spoke upon that. And he spoke upon that concerning the job. You don't go in the office and insult the people that's the CEO and that is the corporate office and human resources. That's not bright. That's not smart. Nobody is saying to sit there and accept foolery. There is the labor board. If you're in a union, there is a union. But you don't sit there and make enemies either. The Apocrypha teaches us, be thou well accepted in the congregation. So now if you're in a congregation of those who know themselves as Israel, or if you're in a congregation around immediate family, for instance, eating shrimp and pork, make yourself acceptable. You don't have to sit there and tell the cook of the pork and the shrimp, that is horrid. You don't have to come off like that. They're going to sit there and ask you to leave. You're making enemies. Know how to make friends. Know how to relate with certain things without partaking in certain things. No, I'm not eating the shrimp, crabs, and lobsters and pork that you made. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to bring out for reference purposes. Be in peace with many. Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000. So watch your counselors, your advisors. Everybody ain't the good friend. You understand? I mean, not to be disrespectful, when me and now in a relationship that I was in, when her and I went out to Egypt, there were people we come to understand, sidebar, hating on the side. Israel ain't supposed to go to Egypt. What you sitting up there doing that? I wouldn't even want to go to Egypt. Nope, not me. No disrespect. You wasn't invited. You just couldn't stand to see people that were happy, still knowing themselves as Israel, went into Egypt when they had their Ma'at, idol god thing, goddess, turned that around, went back in the hotel room, they removed it, dressed in a certain way, talking about Musa left and right when we was in Egypt. Musa is Arabic for Moses. So them Ishmaelites, those people knew when me and the sister that I was with did go out to Egypt, they knew they were something different. They were talking about Musa left and right. You understand? So these are things, again, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. Let's continue, family. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. Time tells a story. You understand? You don't have to have people always starting at the zero and build it up. We may not have that much time. You may want to start, just a suggestion, at 100, because if that person is low frequency and low matter like that, even if you start at 100, they're going to bring themselves down because, again, it don't matter what people think about me. You understand? See how that go? Let's move on, family. For some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. Hey, can I borrow? Hey, do you have? Hey, can I borrow? And I mean no disrespect. What are you in a powwow? Hey, can I borrow? Hey, do you have? Whether it be finances, whether it be an ear, whether it be anything. But when you need that help and that support, oh, well, you know, and I mean not to shame even family, brothers and sisters. When my mother passed away, if you need me for anything, just let me know. The night after, yeah, I need to know if I could borrow. Oh, I don't really have it. Then why did you open your mouth and say that you would be there to help? And if you don't have it, then try to find out how one can get it, even if you can't. You understand? I remember in a relationship, I remember saying, if I can't help you in that, I will try my best to find out how something can be helped. You just don't leave a person stranded. Try to find out if you can't do it, how it can still be done. That's love right there, family. Don't stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. See, Rehoboam's friends stood idly by him. Those are not your people. Those are not your friends. Those are not whom you're supposed to take close to you. Let's move on, fam. And one other way you can find out is how close they want you to be with them. The more distance and the longer the spoon is that they're feeding you with, you measure their spoon by their spoon. Stop giving 70 when they're giving 30. Stop giving 100 when they're giving 30. Stop extending of yourself more. The Apocrypha teaches us, accept nobody to your own hurt. So if me helping you is hurting me, that's the problem. Case in point, and it is not always the dollar bill. Case in point, right? Hi, brother. Can you help me with my village? We are a community and we need help, financial, in our village. Well, what can you do for me? Even the Pharaoh asked Moses, bless me also. Jacob, when he was fighting the angel, blessed me also. Edom, even after he sold his birthright, asked his father Isaac, bless me also. So be it the Pharaoh in Exodus, Edom in Genesis, or Jacob in Genesis, there's nothing wrong with asking for a blessing. Bless me also. What part does this help me at? I just read from a friend online, if it does not endorse you, it should not include you. Don't be around those you just should accept and helping and not accept nothing for it. So I'm going to ask you, when you're asking for financial help for your village, if you can promote the book that a brother has in your village. Do you even ask for a free PDF version, which is on the website, not to be salesman today? There's a free PDF version, a part of the book on Danitepublications of the 3 main books that I wrote. Deuteronomy 28, History Untold to the Masses, Egypt Talking Writing, and another part that is called Old Testament Israelites Respond to Messianic Israelites. On the website, on the drop bar, there are free parts to all of those books that you can read on the PDF. Do you even ask for that when you ask me to sit there and help your village? If I help your village, how is that helping me? I'm not part, no disrespect intended, of your village. Can you sit there and even give something for free? It doesn't have to be $1. But what it is, brothers and sisters, you don't ever intend to help nobody. Just help. No, I'm not just helping, because you are standing idly by the blood of your neighbor. You're not loving your neighbor as yourself. So no, I'm not just helping. Standing idly by the blood of your neighbor or just not helping your brother is a sin. And we're not supposed to let each other sin. The Apocrypha teaches us, give not to a sinner. So if you just asking for help, but you refuse to find out how you can help, when we're not supposed to stand idly by the blood of our neighbor, you are sinning. So therefore, no, I'm not sending nothing to your village because you had enough time to tell me you won't help me push my book. And that has happened a couple of years. Even the PDF version. So the website can get more views. See, if you're intelligent and you're smart, you would sit there and say, what can I do to help? And now you can come to reasoning as brethren and as men. You understand? Shalom, D. John. Same to you. Shalom. Shabbat. Shalom. Thank you for typing that in. It's about one hand washing the other with clean soap. Not just I take, thank you, I take, I appreciate you. You appreciate me. When can I ever appreciate you? When do you ever care to sit there and do something? Huh? Okay, next. See, that's how, and no disrespect intended, you can sit there and pick up on, say, that spirit. You understand? Don't ever sit there and care to do anything, but okay, sitting up there asking for this, that, and the third. Be careful of that kind of energy, because when you find people who's okay asking, let's even take it, if we will, economic, monetary wise. You could pay a person back a different way. You know that? It don't even have to be monetary compensation. It could be another way. But you never took out the time how you can make restitution, make compensation for what you got. You just take. And eventually, you make enemies. And people start to not want to give you any more views, any more time, any more advice, any more dollars. People hate takers, brothers and sisters. You understand? These are things we care to sit there and point out for reference purposes. Let's continue, family. Thank you. We are in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 9. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. You know that person this, you know that person that. Wow, you knew that all along. Take, not to be funny, people who were famous in the, quote, black community. Remember the conscious community? That guy Sonetta, and when that guy Polite wound up getting incarcerated and a little before that. Yeah, you don't want me to sit there and talk about what you were doing in the store with that little girl. You knew Sonetta what Polite was doing with little girls and you didn't say nothing? See? This is why, though they join hand to hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. Let's continue, family. Verse 10, Ecclesiasticus 6, verse 10 in the Apocrypha. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. Joseph's friend when he was incarcerated in Egypt. The butler and the baker. One had a dream and then he was put to death. The other one had a dream and then he was promoted back to his position. Genesis 41 or Genesis 40 or 41 lets us know that when Joseph's said friend was no longer incarcerated in Egypt, he forgot Joseph. And he specifically asked him, when you get out of this prison, don't forget me. But his man's forgot him. See, they're sitting at the table and he's telling them the interpretation of their dreams. But when it came down to when he needed help, oh, I forgot. That's why you have to watch your peoples that you keep around. Test a friend. You understand? These are things we care to bring out for reference purposes, if we will. It goes on to say, verse 11, but in thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. Now, I'm going to use two different examples. One example we should never do. In the movie Scarface, we are not to be selling narcotics, O house of Israel. That's not what our portion is. It has never helped any community. You understand? In the movie Scarface, Omar, who wound up getting hanged from the helicopter area, for those who know the movie, he made sure prior to that, that Frank, their boss, saw him come up the step first in front of Tony and Manolo. When they was going back up after they did their wickedness, I want to emphasize Scarface is not promoting righteousness. The guy who ran up the stairs in front of Tony, Montana, and Manolo made sure that Tony and Manolo was not seen first. So now, just using that as a wide stretch example, in verse 11, but at thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be a bold over thy servants. So could Frank trust Omar, the stoolie, the snitch, the person that was not about living that life, which should have never been lived in the first place? No. Now, let's use an example on a positive side. Not talking as an extreme case with a movie with narcotics, right? In verse 11, but in thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. You're doing very good, Ice Cube. We like and appreciate what you do. Hey, yo, easy, man. What's up with that money? Everybody know I've been writing them songs, man. Easy-E stated in his rap, Ice Cube write the rhymes that I say. And then you decided to not pay them correctly in their royalties. You see what happens, family, when you start doing like that? May Easy-E rest in peace. Before you leave this earth, it comes out what you do. Sometimes it comes out after in the rinse. That's just real bad. You understand? Economically, what's going on in the United States in part? There's a bank that is being sued out the platoon called Capital One Bank. And recently, they decided to sit there, for those who've been following, hold the people's direct deposits and other bank matters instead of paying it at the expected time. So you have people borrowing from friends and family because they didn't get their money at a certain time. Working men, working women, having to dip into friends and family accounts. Hey, brother. Hey, sister. Can I borrow this? Because as you can see, they didn't pay correctly. And this happened at the same week that the bank you're talking about that didn't pay at a certain time as they stated they do and would is being sued for over $1 billion with a B. What? See, when you start doing wickedness, and how does that relate to verse 11? You will be bowled over that particular person's servants, because there's different banks. There's TD Bank, there's Citizens Bank, and other ones. Well, we have free credit card, and you can sit there and use that and to build your credit. But you're now known for doing wrong by that. But you want to bold yourself up, make yourself seem better. We have a cafe, and we can sit there, give you a discount on our stuff. But when people go and find out what happened to their direct deposits, when they got, not to get too personal, grandchildren on the way and bills to take care of, it now becomes a thing of, well, there's people going through this, and there's people, those other banks weren't going through what you was going through. You forgot. Check out a matter first. Be ye ignorant of nothing. You said TD Bank was going through the same thing that you Capital One Bank was going through. No, it wasn't. You didn't think somebody checked something out first? That's what happens when you're living a lie. You got to add one lie to another, and then it goes on and on. You understand? So now when you, like Rehoboam, begin to lose friends, business, aka customers, now what happens? When people want to sit there and start delving and dealing with other aspects, what happens then? But when you have the spirit that says, I don't care what nobody think about me, that's going to be your result. That's going to be the fruit of your doings. You're going to be a dry tree that we just read of in Ecclesiasticus. Let's continue. We are in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 12. And it says, if thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. Yo, man, I don't know what happened. See, you have friends when you're balling. You have friends when you're shining. But when you get dim, your said friends who are not real friends depart. A real friend will want to sit there and keep you shining. They're not going to sit there and let you fall. They're not going to do to you what Rehoboam's so-called friends did with him. Like, you might want to take the counsel of the elders, the people, they may or may not like you. The elders, they got more experience. They say they're going to serve you. You understand? I'm going to take their word for it. But, you know, chasten them with scorpions, but don't chasten me with scorpions. No, don't do that with me. Just do that, sit there with them. You understand? Have to make wise decisions, family. Shabbat shalom, my friend Jared Judah. Let's continue in this. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed to thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such is as one who found a treasure. Not only a treasure because they loan you money, but treasure in wisdom, treasure in understanding, treasure in knowledge. A faithful friend, not just a friend. So we don't want to sit there and drop adjectives like good as if it means nothing, faithful as if it means nothing. A friend is a friend. Morning, night. No, good morning, good night. Not just morning or night. Faithful friend, not just friend. Because in Hebraic thought, friend is kabir, as we went over earlier. Kabar means to tie or to bind. What are you tied and binded in? In a man and woman becoming engaged, what are you engaging in? So these are things we want to point out. My friend Yared said, Rehoboam's friends were slow, telling him what he wanted to hear. Yes, brother, before you came on the platform, I kind of hinted on that Rehoboam's mind might have already been made up. Like, yeah, well, you know, be like that. You have to sit there and maybe perhaps be a little bit like Jehoshaphat later on. Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, was going to join with Ahab, king of Israel, in a battle against the Arameans, right? If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. The prophets that Ahab had were what you call yes men. Go up, everything's going to be well. Go up, oh thou king, everything's going to be. Jehoshaphat like, nah, this sound like a yes men. No, we're not doing that. Thank you, Torah Rita. Thank you, it's all good. No. We're not doing the thing like Ezekiel 33 says, the love song. I'm going to give you what you want to hear because, well, that's what I just do. Jehoshaphat said, is there another prophet? Yeah, there's Micaiah, but I don't like him. Actually, I hate him because the prophets are bad. Get him. Get the one that's going to make you feel a little out of your comfort zone. That's what a friend might do. A friend might bring you out of your comfort zone. So Micaiah the prophet came and didn't even say anything that was too harsh, but just that if you go into this battle, Ahab, you ain't coming out alive. Ahab slapped Micaiah the prophet, or it says he struck him on the face. Could have been a slap, could have been a punch in the face, whatever. He struck the prophet, something you should have not done, and had him incarcerated. Said, if you come back alive, Ahab, I ain't a prophet. I ain't telling you to go or not to go. I'm just saying what's going to happen if you go. I didn't say I got word and thou shalt not go. Now, if you love your neighbor as yourself, Ahab, you're not going to go. Pick your battles. Is what we can learn from that. You understand? Well, what does Ahab do? See what kind of friend this is. I'm going to dress up as the average person and not as the king. So what did, come to find out, the army against Israel, their leader said, strike them, but not the king. So when the army of the Arameans seen Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, they made sure they hit everybody in Israel that was coming toward them, because Israel, when you study sidebar history about other nations talking about fighting with Israel, Israel did go aggressive. I mean, from the timing of those Arameans that talk about it and Moab that talk about it to the Romans, they all generally stated when Israel went to battle, Israel went hard. So now, getting back into the point where Ahab and the character matter. Ahab dresses up like the regular person, but the king of the Arameans done said, strike them except the king. So the Arameans, seeing Jehoshaphat coming with the royal, look, that's the king. We're told not to hit him. Just keep shooting at him. Shoot him with the bow and arrow. Just keep shooting at him. And the arrow just went, and hit somebody. Keep more arrows going. The sons of Aram against the sons of Israel, because there was beef between Arameans and Israel since the timing of King David. So just keep on doing it like that. Well, what ended up happening, because King Jehoram, also of the house of Israel, got killed by the Arameans. And Ahab got killed by the Arameans. But the Arameans didn't go against the rule of their leader. Jehoshaphat was told later on, why did you join on with the wicked? See, where Ahab was intelligent and smart at was, I'm not dealing with your yes men. This don't sound right. But I am going to sit there and take heed to later on when I am rebuked, rebuke your neighbor, not be a sin on account of him. Why did you join on to that? Know your battles, Jehoshaphat. Even know your battles before that, Ahab. Did Ahab, not trying to put words in the book, but did Ahab think that if they kill the king, Ahab will sit there and now reign over Judah as well? Ahab is not the good friend to have, man. And it's not because he listened to Jezebel. It's because he didn't listen to the prophets. You understand? Let's move on, family. We are in Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, in the Apocrypha, verse 15. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A good friend, you can't put value on that economically, socially, politically, or otherwise. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Most High shall find him. You just might need that good, tough love, that good rebuke, that good something to sit there and tell you something in your ear, be it male or female. You understand? Whoso feareth the Most High shall find him. Friendship shall find his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So when you are putting the Most High first, your friends are going to see that and be attracted to that, and vice versa. And you're going to get a good, faithful union out of that. It goes on to say, my son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom to thine old age. So when people feel they can't be taught anything, such is not the case. Get instruction from your youth up. You never stop learning, family. Learn something. These are things we care to bring out for reference purposes. Brothers and sisters, we hope and pray that we learn from this. This is not going to be too much longer. My brother Jared wrote, and he set up Jehoshaphat. Yes, this is why good Israelites shouldn't deal with bad Israelites, and that's the truth. You understand? Say even at the workplace. When you're a new person at the workplace, be circumspect of the person that just want to latch on to you and talk to you about everybody else. That's not always the brightest energy to be around. How and what did you do to earn this person's friendship? Did this person put you through the mill of saying, be not hasty to credit him as a friend? You've been at the job a week or less, and all of a sudden somebody latch on to you and telling you everything about everybody else. Watch that person that's close to you. I'm talking from experience. Seeing it, brothers and sisters. You understand? They can't sit there and be friends with the people that's already there, so they sit there and take on to the new person and hope the new person don't make other friends. That's something that is not the best idea, family. So yes, as my brother pointing out there, that's why good Israelites shouldn't deal with bad Israelites. Let's move on into the other comments. And Micaiah showed to not be a yes prophet. Yeah, whatever you say, I'm going to say what you want me to say. The brother also wrote, even Ahab knew he wasn't going to survive because he knew he was wicked. And he set up Jehoshaphat. Jared, if you're still able to hear, do you think Jehoshaphat, pardon me, do you think Ahab would have survived if he did not go to the battle? Or did he have to show face and arrogance and go into a death trap? Or if I am going to go in, I'm going to come out alive, but my man here, he's going to sit there, he's going to pay for that. See, that's the kind of spirit that Ahab had. That's not good. Jezebel, I got all these tribes, but I want the field and Nabayot. I just got to get that field, man. Oh, don't worry, baby. I got you. I'm going to get the field for you. It's okay. And when they slew Nabayot for the field, that was it. Because see, all the idolatry that Ahab did, when the prophet Elijah went to Ahab the prophet, says, look at Ahab and how he humbled himself from all the idolatry stuff that was done. And then you turned right around and committed murder because you wanted somebody's field. That blood, that was it, brothers and sisters. Looking at it, and not too long ago, brothers and sisters, within, say, maybe 15 years, maybe, or maybe 20, round off, right? There was a big time drug dealer, not to always talk street, but Ahab was of the street. And when we talk about things like in the scriptures, we're talking about in part of people of the street, your friends, people that you meet along the way, maybe in the street, if you will. Right? There was a big time hustler who got incarcerated in the 80s twice. Made friends with people like Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, Ja Rule the rapper, and others. Had a connection with producers. Took Donald Goines' book, for those who do know. Donald Goines was a person addicted to drugs and cleaned his life. May he rest in peace now. Made a Donald Goines book a movie. And people was feeling this particular hustler that went from selling crack throughout Queens in New York in the 1980s extremely hard, and had wound up having a lot of respect for him. Then you turn around, for those who do know what I'm talking about, Supreme from Queens, and you put a brother, Money Bags, to death. Once you did that, Supreme, that was it. The feds took you and put you where Dr. York is at, over in ADX in Colorado. All of the good that you did, and all of the rappers that wanted to work with you and making movies, Donald Goines books that sold crazy amounts in the hood, if you will, people wanted to latch on to you. Positive people, like some of the rappers, if you will. People wasn't always listening to 50 Cent and Get a Quran talking about this particular person. No, he's just talking from South Jamaica. Just let him talk. You had those as far as California who wanted to work with you, brother. But like Ahab, who went from bad to repenting from bad, Supreme, the drug dealer out of Queens, went from bad, repenting from bad, and Ahab killed Nabayot to take his field. Supreme had Money Bags killed, and that was it. You're done. You don't want to do what the Apocrypha talks about, add sin to sin, because you never know when your time is up. So be a friend to yourself. Don't burn your bridges, family. And hoping and praying we all got something out of this. Asking you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Brothers and sisters, we're going to talk about another thing right here. And that is next presentation, 125, next Sabbath, Shemot. We want to go into the history, the reasoning, why Israel wound up going into Egypt. What happened while they was there, biblically and other aspects, to show what we're talking about, if we will. So, brothers and sisters, prepare for a Hebrew lesson, a history lesson, and archaeology. Come, Creator willing, next week, we intend to bring this out. Going into the portion of Shemot or Exodus, chapter 1, all the way to chapter 5. Giving honor and praise unto our Maker, the Most High. Shalom, brothers and sisters.